morning, everyone. My name is Becca Dare. I'm Director of International Compliance Training's Education and Development Faculty. So effectively, I run the training faculty, developing new programs, and I'm going to talk to you for just maybe 10 minutes about the International Compliance Training organisation in terms of how we approach the learning. So Phil's been talking to you about the great work that the ICA is doing as the professional association. International Compliance Training is the lead training provider for the professional association. So we employ the academic faculty, the training experts who we have, some of the guys down the front row here, and we will effectively develop the workshop materials, support you with your learning materials as you go through the program. So I'm going to just give you a bit of an insight into what ICT does as the lead training provider. You can see we have, that's a fluid figure actually, around 44 teaching staff. And without wishing to embarrass the guys we have here down the front, who you'll get a chance to meet, they are really leaders in their fields. You know, we have real subject matter expertise. So the training approach, I like to describe it as professionally engaging. I know a lot of you here have done ICT workshops, and if you haven't been through the workshops, I would suggest speak to some other attendees, and I'm sure universally you will get positive feedback about the experience, because the trainers that we use have done the roles. They can talk with real credibility and enthusiasm and give you that insight into the practicalities of the issues that we're going to be discussing on the course. Now, you saw Phil talking about the global reach of ICA, and ICT is no different. Again, we're very well travelled. We have now an office in New York, Singapore, Dubai, and the UK, and over 100,000 students. And again, I think that figure is now actually slightly redundant. We really have, reached around the world. We train across a huge range of sectors. We train pretty much all the tier one financial institutions, and we also, on a public basis, train an incredibly diverse range of industries. We're going to talk about the workshops shortly, and I would really, promote the concept in the workshops that you'll get of cross-pollinating with people from different backgrounds. So where else will you get the chance to be shut away in a room with 30, 25 other practitioners from law enforcement, oil and gas firms, the gaming industry, banks, insurance, law firms, very, very diverse range of attendees. And there's a huge amount of benefit to be taken from that. Over 134 countries. So again, the insight we can give you is how do different industries and different jurisdictions tackle these issues that we're talking around: governance, risk and compliance, financial crime, anti-money laundering. We have that international perspective. We train, for example, next couple of weeks we're off to Moscow to train a large Russian institution out there. And it's really interesting to get that international insight into how other firms are dealing with these challenges. Okay, so when you enroll in the learning programs, you will get a huge amount of supporting material. I think Phil used the term integrated learning. And what we mean by that is people learn in different ways. So some people, really prefer the face-to-face interaction in a workshop. Others like to lock themselves away in a darkened room and hunch over their books and just sort of draw in the material that way. So to recognise that, we have a huge range of learning material. The primary source for you is your learning platform, and you can see a screenshot there where you have sort of various boxes, tiles there which you can click on, and there's a vast amount of supporting material, okay? There's obviously your course material, so we have very high quality course manuals with practical self-assessment questions so you can assess your learning as you go through, and they are constantly updated, so they're bang up to date with the latest technical and case study material. We also have a huge amount to help you with your studies. One of the biggest concerns we get is people that come into the programs and they maybe haven't studied at this level for years or ever in some cases. And even if you have done recent, degree level study, it is a shock to the system to come back to that. So there's a lot of material to help you with your studies. So everything from guidance around writing assessments, assignments, referencing, to previous exam papers, You know, the courses that we do typically at diploma level and advanced certificate level are open book examinations. Now, open book examinations are a bit of a mixed blessing. And we talked to you about the strategies for tackling open book examinations and doing well. Again, a lot of further reading and resources, videos, webinars, interactive materials to help you. And there's a question and answer forum where delegates can post questions, and we have a very good SLA for coming back to members with queries within at least sort of 48 hours at the very most. So you're having any sort of technical problem with the course content or any administrative problems, we're always available to help. Also, there's a lot of guidance on how to do things. So for example, how to structure an assignment. And again, when you come to the workshops, we will give you advice. You know, we have lots of insight into how the ICA formally assesses your qualification. So, you know, building a logical structure to assignments, trying to avoid overly subjective language, you know, footnotes and referencing. How do you go about doing these things? There's a huge amount of supporting guides to help you with that. There's also information about how the ICA undertakes the assessment. So you've already heard this morning that our qualifications are endorsed by the University of Manchester Business School, and they have a real academic rigour. So we explain and hold you through the process of how to go about succeeding in the assessment, okay? Now, I can assure you these photos are not staged. We didn't say, look happy to these people. They generally are an enjoyable experience. I know my colleagues here would echo this. We love running the workshops. It's a fascinating subject. You know, all the subjects we run are inherently interesting. So, you know, you're usually in a room with other people who genuinely care and are interested in the subject. They want to develop their careers and their skills. It's a pleasure. Yes, it is technical. Yes, you have to do assessments, but you get the chance to build your professional networks. And that's one of the great advantages of ICA and ICT. You know, I would say professionally, the thing that's helped me the most in my career has been developing a really good professional network, okay? And the workshops are brilliant for that. They will really grow your network and your connections. We keep the workshops small. Normally our upper cap is 25, absolute maximum. So you get the chance to be interactive. Very practical. We have increasingly large amount of artifacts. So for example, I'm going to talk this afternoon about our Managing Fraud Advanced Certificate, where we have actual mocked up artifacts to simulate fraud scenarios, for example. Our Practical Due Diligence course, similar thing, real KYC onboarding files and documents, adverse media reports, so it feels very tangible. Okay, but very discursive, very facilitator-led rather than just lectures. They're very interactive and enjoyable. And the final point, the food is absolutely brilliant. I'm walking testimony to this. It's a bit of an occupational hazard, but if nothing else, you will be fed well, okay?